And there's the numbers. All right, here we go. My name is Bruce. This is Table Breakers, episode 109. Tonight, we are doing a superhero deep dive. And we're going to have, in the first act, we're going to have a four-person panel. We've got Bear, Crafting Gamer, actually a five-person panel. Bear, Crafting Gamer, Connell, Kai, and Jade coming in. I'll be in as soon as my work finishes. That should be around 8 o'clock Central Standard or 2000. You know what I mean. Anyway, welcome to the show. Here we go with tonight's man of the hour, Mr. Jade. How you doing, Jade?
I wasn't realize I was going to be the first one speaking. Hello.
Hey, how you doing tonight, sir? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Sorry, but I mean, we've both been missing each other. You had a really great Gatekeepers last week.
Why, thank you.
Not a problem. I'm going to bring in Kai next. Hello, Mr. Kai.
Hi.
Excellent. You ready for tonight?
Yeah.
It's all right. You and I have about the same amount of expertise with superheroes. I actually have more time with City of Heroes, which they now have re-released as a freebie for those of you that hunt for it. All right. In comes Connell. He says, I need a cigar.
I need a cigar. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing fantastic, sir.
I'm glad to hear
Glad
that.
to see you. You look like you're, despite everything going on with your life, you look like you're doing pretty well, man. You don't have the ugly dark circles under your eyes that you had last week.
It's called makeup. No, I've actually been able to get some sleep.
Yeah, that really helps. That really does help. Okay, here comes a Crafting Gamer. Hello, sir. How are you tonight?
Pretty good.
Excellent. The four of you together, and Baron G-Rock will be absent this evening. He's feeling a little ill under the weather. I'm going to introduce Bear, and then I'm going to retreat to behind the curtain. If you guys need anything, I'll be right here. I'll still be in the chat, but glad to have you all here, and glad to have this available for everybody who's tuning in tonight. And for those of you that are on other networks, thank you so much. Mr. Bear!
What the hell's going on? Who are you people, and what are you doing in my house?
I don't know. I got dropped here.
I have a very particular set of skills.
Oh, no.
For fuck's sake.
Skills. I don't have that.
Hail, Shadow and Sun. Good to see you, even though you came in here about 7 hours before the show.
That's Shadow.
Actually, 6 hours. He's good. He's on avocado time. We'll let that wave. He's doing pretty well, too. Nerdy Ogre. Howdy, howdy. Snow Dog Studios. Hello, sir. And our own, I guess you'd say the troll, the best troll that I have in my chat, Soy-Based Jeremy. How you doing, Soy-Based?
Whoa, Snow Dog Studios.
Discord. Feed it to me in the Discord, Soy-Based. These people, they want to hear about superheroes, tights, and capes. With that,
I guess that's your cue there.
He's out.
He's got to go check his goiter.
So,
He's a goiter.
who's leading this shindig this time?
You are. The
you,
questions
buddy.
are probably
Oh, I
on
am.
Gilded because
I couldn't find him.
Because screw you.
Oh, Gilded. Okay, the other service I don't typically use. Got it.
no, Bear. You do the superhero thing, don't you? Run the superhero game. You've ran superhero games in the past, from my understanding, or am I completely off?
I can't stand superheroes. I think they're the worst thing ever. I think they're an
Only wrote a
absolute
book.
atrocity to mankind and should be burned at the stake.
Well,
We are the best people for this topic.
Of course, I've run superhero games. Christ, I'm producing a superhero game in February, you meathead. Jesus, Connell.
I'm
Do
trying.
you listen like ever when I talk, or do you just like it's just blah, 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 widdly tiddly tea potatoes? Like what goes on in your head, man?
Potatoes.
Potatoes. Actually, no. Most of the time when you talk, I just hear that joke you told Mr. Mark about the aliens and the guy in the boat, and just
The
goes on
Newfies.
and on in my head.
Yeah.
You see the thing when it comes to Connell's brain, he doesn't actually have one. It's just a little leprechaun running him like a robot.
Jesus, people.
It's three
Come on now.
halflings and a t-shirt. Got it.
Yeah, I
Hey,
can't find
there.
what
Oh, my
y'all are talking about.
I'm
So,
looking-
if I'm the one running it, then I guess it's going to be the questions off the top of my head about superhero games because, got to tell you, it's not something I run often. All right, rather, I would love to be able to run a superhero game, but I've never had the opportunity because most people just shy away from it, and I don't understand why that is.
I've never
Maybe
had that problem.
maybe one of you can enlighten me as to why people shy away from superhero games to begin with.
I can literally say I've never had that problem.
Really? Wow.
Never.
In my experience,
Okay.
when I a couple times I tried, because I've only succeeded twice. You know, as you guys have heard, one of those times ended in complete disaster. Most of the time, people don't like the idea of alignment locking. They prefer to be able to choose what kind of alignment their character will have, and everyone goes superhero, so you automatically have to be a good guy. Most of the people I ran with wanted to be murder hobos, so they at least wanted to be neutral characters. So in my experience, in my personal experience, at least what kept me from doing it was people like, oh yeah, I can't murder hobo everything I want, so I don't want to play that game.
Oh,
Yes, Kai, I'm done.
Okay.
I guess for me, it comes down to we all try, and then we all make our own characters, and then we get the most hodgepodge, worst combination of, like, if you think classes is wrong, try giving us a blank template and superpowers, and then try to go make a coherent team. And boy,
Well, okay.
nobody's
So then I have a question about that. Then, how do you
Yes.
balance the power levels of the superheroes in your game? Then, as far as the campaign goes, like how are you ensuring that who's got access to what powers is both fair and engaging experience for all the players?
You need a GM who's not a spineless tool, who actually has a plan. But let's be honest, most GMs, at least in my experience, in the 3 attempts at doing superheroes I've been part of, are GMs who just like, do what you want. At which point, I make something interesting. Somebody makes a cartoon character. Like legitimately the worst character possible. One guy is like, you can't kill me, and like, do you do anything else besides no? You just can't kill me. I'm literally invincible. And another person is just like, I can. And it's like you get a mix of like 6 people at the table, and nobody's coherent. And I don't know. I need somebody who's actually run a good campaign to actually tell me what I've had GMs who just throw random shit at us, and it doesn't matter. My power is I can summon bunny rabbits, squirrels, and make trees, grass grow. And then another guy goes, I shoot nuclear bombs from my fingertips, and it's like, what? We have the same PowerPoints and skill sets to draw upon, but I don't know how to balance this shit. Please, somebody better
maybe
get an idea.
I mean, is that a lack of system knowledge, or is that a
No GM I've ever had a chance to play under has ever explained the rules, or even has bothered to read the rules enough to be able to make anything fun.
I can hear a
I
grumpiness.
think we're about to get schooled.
Yeah.
Please, I want to learn.
No, keep going,
Please
please.
tell me,
I'm
classes in
just
session.
building up a little lexicon for you all.
I know there's a couple systems outside of the Marvel DC RPGs. I know was it
Heroes.
What's the RPG system I'm thinking about? They have not Rifts, Palladium. Palladium has a superhero type engine. in
Yeah, it
somewhat
has a setting for superheroes. Yes.
heroes.
Yeah, but that's what
Well, I
the
mean,
Palladium
it
engine-
yeah. So I guess my question here is, should how do you balance the game? I'm assuming there's mechanics or rules within the rule set that does this. Again, here superhero games and superhero engines aren't really my forte. I'm very much a fantasy gamer, more so than a superhero gamer.
Yeah,
So,
you play Exalted.
huh? What's
Yeah,
that?
you play Exalted, which is pretty much superheroes, but
Well, okay.
it's a fantasy skin.
Exalted, I would not classify Exalted as a superhero game. It is a demigod game, sure, but it's not
What do you think
truly
demigods are?
superheroes.
What
Well-
are demigods? Demigods are superheroes. The word hero comes from Greece, from Hercules and the demigods. They were heroes. That is what the
Fair.
term means. All the children of Zeus and Athena and all that, all those little bastards running around ancient Greece, the word hero was used to describe them. So,
Okay.
all right.
Well,
There's a
I-
danger here for me to come off like a pretentious fuck if I get going, guys. So I'm really, really wanting to be cautious and careful with what I say, because you're literally standing in my web, in my wheelhouse, in my well, in my pool, like you're in it.
you're not
And I'm like,
going to insult me because I'm just
no,
going to
no,
learn.
no,
is
no,
all
no,
I'm
no. I'm
going
not
to
going to
do.
insult anybody. I'm just going to come off like I'm an asshole who knows everything.
Wait.
Here is
I mean,
that,
and in this, you know more than I do. So
so the thing here is like I'm used to the where Exalted with the framework is different, but every time I've tried a modern, the modern cape and tights superheroes, everything falls. It's always exploded horrifically. But if you put it into fantasy with fantasy, it seems to work, at least in but every time. So therefore, we always shied away from it because we've had enough bad experiences that I want to know how to do it right. Because fantasy I can handle, modern I can't.
I think that's where I'm at as well with Exalted. Like the reason I say Exalted is a demigod game and not a superhero game is, even though the Greek hero is the demigods, most Exalted games that I've been a part of have not had that superhero feel to it. It's been basically a fantasy adventure, more so than go around saving people. And in some cases, I'm more villainous than I am heroic in Exalted games, because when it comes to the natural enemy of the Exalted hero, or the Exalted, the dragon blooded, I couldn't care less which any of them get in the way. Like I'll rip a tree out of the ground, swipe, and take out 30 of them in one go. Yes, Bear.
Okay. So you guys keep using the word superhero and then defaulting to 4-color Saturday morning cartoon bullshit. Superheroes are beyond complex when it comes to the levels and subgenres and what you can do with a superhero concept. Costumes and capes doesn't mean paladins. It doesn't mean lawful good. It means someone who wears a costume and maybe a cape and has a code name. But The Boys is a perfect example of that not being Saturday morning cartoon bullshit, right? It all depends. So, Kai, you were saying, the game didn't work because it was a chaotic mess of characters and all this kind of stuff and blah, 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 blah. Well, if you're starting a superhero campaign, first thing is you got to pick a system, right? You got to decide what system. Now, the default for the old school gaming mentality is, well, we're going to use champions. Well, champions is an easily abused point system tinker game that can basically be exploited by someone who's really good with math and has some levels of system mastery to it. And when they have that level of system mastery, they're going to abuse the system. Same for mutants and masterminds. But if you're going to play champions, I highly recommend picking up Champions 3, the box set. This is probably, for me, the best version of Champions before it just became the Big Blue Book. And the Big Blue Book is where the really gross, overpowered garbage happens. Okay. But if you're not going to play Champions, and please don't play Mutants and Masterminds for the love of God, and you want to play a builder system where you're going to do your Build-A-Bear hero, you have two really good choices on the market. You have Bash Ultimate Edition, which is fantastic. It is a builder, but it's constrained to certain extents. It's not going to destroy your campaign. And then you have one that may have my name on the inside cover as one of the publishers of, which is Super's Revised Edition. Now, Simon Washburn did Super's. My buddy Walt and I loved it enough that we bought the rights off him and we produced the Revised Edition Super's Red. But I wouldn't run that either.
May I ask a question?
You may ask any question you like.
I know you just said Mutants and Masterminds is a bad idea. Could you just run over why? Because I've heard of
it's Champions times 10.
Okay.
So you got a D20, the D20 engine. Well, now it's even less D20. By third edition, they're starting to rip off DC heroes, but that's fine, whatever. Yeah, Cody, I'm only showing stuff on my shelf, but I don't have Prowess and Paragons because Len's never sent it to me. So Mutants and Masterminds is another one of those plumbing systems, Byzantine character building, where if you can figure out, okay, we were going to run, me and my friends were going to play Mutants and Masterminds 2nd edition. One of the players was playing a Kryptonian. So we went to the Atomic Think Tank, which was their forums, and I said, hey, how would you build a Kryptonian in Mutants and Masterminds? And we got 8 different builds. None of them matched. That's how versatile and yet incohesive the system is. It's whatever people think they can think of, and they'll find a way to manipulate it. Now, I don't like games where you say, well, I want to have the ability to move magnetic things. Well, you just take the power of telekinesis, and then you give it the limit metal only, and then I'm like, no, I don't want a power called telekinesis. I want a power called magnetism. That's what I want, because that's my character. There's only one superhero game worth playing. You can teach anyone to play this game in 10 minutes. The rank system means everybody's nice and controlled, and you can do anything with it. People ignored it, or people sort of brushed it off because they felt it was kiddie, because it used a color chart, and they were playing Champions. They were building real superheroes. Well, you see now and now more and more people online talking about the nostalgia for this game, because you can literally do anything. You've got a series of ranks that go all the way from feeble to unearthly, and there's some after that, but we'll just say in that range, okay, which is your average, is your most human rank. It's about, I think, 16 ranks or something like that. Feeble, poor, typical, good, excellent, remarkable, incredible, amazing, monstrous, unearthly. 10 ranks. With that, you can do anything. Anything, because it's an intensity system. Everything is based around the rank. So let's say, Kai, what power do you want your character to have? What's his primary power?
I tend to go for like the mental, like the
So telepathy?
telepathy and telekinesis is usually what I usually go for.
Okay, so here's one way you can do it. I have a power called telepathy at, let's say, incredible rank. And I have a power called telekinesis at amazing rank. And you're good to go. You want to get more in the weeds? Okay, well, I've got my telepathy power, but I have some power stunts on it as well, like, psychic surgery or mind control or whatever else. You can do that. Or you can make that up as you're playing by doing a power stunt. I'm going to use my power to do something. Is that okay, Mr. Referee or judge in this game? And they're going to help you. But you could literally say, I want to be able to shoot beams of ice out of my eyes. What power do I take? Just write down on your character sheet, ice beams, and give it a rank. And we're good to go. Now, there's a random system in there which creates nightmare characters, but if you have no idea, well, use the random generator until you get an idea from what you're trying to see come up on the randoms. You'll be able to maybe put a para character together. But the point is that if your referee doesn't sit down and say, hey, we're doing a boys campaign, or we're doing Avengers cinematic, or we're doing I don't know, the Teen Titans Go cartoon, that type of flavor, or the Justice League animated series or something, you will wind up with chaotic characters that don't make any sense, which can be run, but require a really good GM to be able to bring it all together.
I think my one fear with that was I wanted to play these games, but because everyone was such a jumbled mess, the GMs get frustrated and drop the game, and then you're left here going, well, what was that? And I want a superhero game that goes beyond Adventure 2, maybe 3, before the GM gets so frustrated and quits.
I ran a Marvel Superheroes campaign for 10 years.
That's fantastic.
And if you count the 2 cities I lived in, over 20 years. How? Because I just told them, this is the campaign parameters. Costumes, code names, Heart of Gold. I don't care if you're the lone wolf who plays by his own rules and lives on the edge. That's fine. But like Wolverine, you're going to have a Heart of Gold. You can kill. The game has mechanics that will deal with you killing people, and it's going to fuck up the rest of your teammates, and they're going to hate you for it because it's going to reduce their available resource, the spendable resource of karma, but you can do it. But in this campaign, you're a good guy. Because if you want to play villains, you can play villains. And I will play heroes against you. And I will stick to the comic tropes. The heroes always win. I won't cheat, but I'll just play them really smart. And some of my players took me up on that one time. They're like, we can beat you. I'm like, let's go. And we had a one-night session, and they were like, we never ever want to do that again. Because, they got a few shots in, but at the end of the day, the heroes kicked the snot out of them. Because that's what heroes do. So you got to have a GM who A, knows the genre, B, has system mastery of the game that he's running, or she's running, and C, lays down parameters at the beginning of the campaign as to what is acceptable for characters and what is not acceptable for characters. Now, if people are going to say, I just want to murder a hobo, then don't play superheroes. It's not for you. That simple. Just like any D&D game. If you were going to be running a Lord of the Rings campaign or that flavor in a D&D game, and someone showed up saying, I want to play a drow assassin, you'd be like, no. Well, you can do the same thing with a superhero game. You have that same power to say no, but you have to have a clear idea of what you're trying to do. That'd be my answer. Long story short, too late.
I'm nodding my head like a damn idiot, thinking, oh, yeah, I agree. Wait, no one sees me.
No, I'm learning.
Well, I mean, Connell, you're the one who plays the superhero character at almost every table I've been at.
I made multiple arguments that every D&D Pathfinder RPG character could be copy coded to. I could point a superhero in a comic book that's the same exact, the same build. I want to be an archer. Okay, do you want to be Green Arrow or Hawkeye? Well, I want to be a barbarian. Do you want to be Cole? Do you want to be Conan? Do you want to be the Hulk? I want to be a paladin, Captain America. ... Continue. I've made the argument that they're one and the same.
Very much so.
Yeah, but you see, you take an archer and you go, okay, what can I glue to my arrows?
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye, a Green Arrow. I've got to pull off the punching
Speedy,
bag one.
Red Arrow.
Right Arrow, yeah.
And tons of characters. The Black Archer, Golden Arrow. I mean, there's tons of archer characters throughout the history of comic books, and that's just a trope, right? It's the Robin Hood trope.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a trope that has the tech attached to it, right? Because of Green Arrow having the punching bag arrow, which they made fun of. There was a fantastic issue of Justice League where his son, Connell, that's his son's name, winds up on the Justice League satellite, and he's got nothing, and his arrows get blasted away by the bad guy that shows up, and he's running around. He gets into the museum, and he sees his father's gear, and he grabs it, and then he pulls out a punching bag arrow, and he's like, what the hell? He's just looking at the glove on the end of it. He's like, and as he's running, and he's trying to figure out what these arrows do, he's got this monologue running where he's like, just one pointy arrow, Dad. That's all I want, and it's really fun to read because... So one of the things that happens is we see this a lot in media. People make fun of superheroes because superheroes are stupid and dumb. Well, yeah. Or you can see stuff like The Tick, where you got a guy like Ben Edlund, who also was part of Mystery Men and all these other things, who absolutely loves superheroes, but can celebrate the absurdities of them and make fun of them without being disrespectful to them. It's like The Boys, the comic, versus The Boys, the TV show. The TV show is amazing. The comic, after about 6 issues, you're like, yeah, we get it, Garth. You hate superheroes. Please stop writing them if you hate them this much. Alan Moore, same thing. We get it. You hate superheroes. Please stop writing them, But if you get a writer who loves superheroes, but also accepts the absurdities of superheroes, they can make really interesting stuff. It's the same thing with players. If you get players who love superheroes but can accept the tropes and the absurdities and actually make them part of the play, you're going to have even more fun. And then when you get that one or two player at the table who are like, I don't want to play superheroes, suddenly they're having a great time playing superheroes because they're able to laugh at it a little bit and not feel like they're mocking it. And it's a big thing. Superheroes are the premier American mythology. Of all the mythologies that America has tried to create, Paul Bunyan and Johnny Appleseed and all that stuff, superheroes is the one that most resonated to the American people. Why? Superman. Why did Superman resonate? Because he's the story of the immigrant experience. And that's exactly what America is, the story of the immigrant experience. Okay, then the 70s come and Superman's not popular anymore. Who takes over in number one popularity? Batman. Why? Because that's where the capitalist sort of mentality of, get mine, greed is good, Gordon Gekko, Wolf of Wall Street stuff started to take over. So we can look at guys like Iron Man and Batman and go, oh yeah, they get theirs and they have money and they use their money to make themselves powerful. And it taps into that zeitgeist in the culture, but it's still superheroes.
90s, a little bit angrier, and here comes Wolverine and the Punisher, Lobo. Well, Lobo was a joke towards Wolverine, but it kind of worked out.
Captain Canuck was Mormon, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Someone asked about Captain Canuck. Captain Canuck was a Mormon. The character is actually Mormon in the comics. But Kai, you looked like you wanted to ask a question. Sorry.
I think part of it might be also, at least with me, I know I have a little bit of a problem because of the idea of the ever expanding, never consistent power list that just keeps on growing and growing and growing and growing. And then the people who defend that kind of what I consider to be somewhat poor writing, and then people want to come in and go, I want to play that kind of character, and then here's me going, what? Why?
What kind of character? Okay, what kind of character are you referring to, Kai?
The Superman, the Superman characters, the ones who have the ones who've been here for decades, whose powers and histories and backstories keep getting more and more extreme and more
insane. Yeah. So tell them, okay, cool, we'll play for 80 years and see how it goes.
Right.
We're going to start you with the ability to leap tall buildings in a single bound, be faster than a locomotive, have bullets bounce off of you, and lift stuff. And let's see where we go from there and over 80 years what we can do with your character.
Oh, and
that shuts them right down. Shuts them right down because they're like, well, what do you mean? You don't get to start with everything. You get to start with this, and then we'll go from there and see where you wind up. That's why there's a real thing amongst gamers who are into superhero games. They always say, well, I do my Green Lantern test, and that's the way they if I can't build Green Lantern, the game's shit. Well, Green Lantern is a Deus Ex Machina character. He can do anything so long as he can focus his willpower, right? Well, later game designers came up with a great thing called wizardry, and that's most games call it wizardry. Some call it omnipower. And what you do is you go, I want to do this other power. Great. What rank, what power level, whatever you're doing. I'm going to do it at 12. Okay, great. Go ahead and use your willpower to see if you can actually manifest that power now. So now they got to make a roll or they got to do a test to be able to see if they can make the power happen first. And let me tell you, it slows them down enough that they stop trying to figure out a way to be the character that does everything for everybody. And they remember they're on a team. That's the second problem we run into. Team versus solo. Spider-Man is a solo character. Yes, I know they've added him to the Avengers, but they never put him on the Avengers because he was a solo character. And that was the point of Spider-Man. He doesn't work well on a team. Green Lantern, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, they're all solo characters that they bring together for the Justice League. And unless you have a good writer, it's going to be a shit show. But the Avengers, Ant-Man, the Wasp, Iron Man, the Hulk. That's your original lineup, right? Oh, and Thor. There's your original lineup for the Avengers. What a hodgepodge of middle-range characters have you ever seen in 1960 whatever. They're like, what the hell are these guys? Issue 4, they unfreeze Captain America, and now they've got leadership and direction. Within 10 issues, they all quit, and Cap brings in Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and I can't remember who else, and then has their no, it's that's the four of them because they call it Cap's Kooky Quartet, and that's where he turns a bunch of villains into heroes. What a great story, right? But notice Spider-Man nowhere to be seen. Eventually, when Wolverine gets introduced in the comics, nowhere to be seen until post 2000s when they have to put Wolverine on every team that exists and even showed up on the Fantastic Four at one point. Third problem: writer versus game. Nothing annoys me more than a superhero game that says we emulate comics. Really? So I have a writer who can just do whatever he wants, and I have an editor there who can take care of everything and make sure everything makes sense and can check the back issues to make sure we don't contradict ourselves. That we can do that, because otherwise I'm playing a game. I'm not playing a comic book. Yes, it may have comic book tropes and it may have comic book set dressing and it may have all that fun stuff, but it's still a game, and therefore the mechanics need to make sense, and we can't just do anything we want. We have to have some sort of control. Otherwise, let's just run around in our backyard playing superheroes like we did when we were kids and yelling, "No, you didn't hit me. I used my new power." You know, it's just a thing, man.
So that beggars the question then: how do you develop, I guess, encounters or missions for the players to go solve?
It's the easiest thing possible.
Yeah.
What is the biggest pain in the ass you have to deal with when you're running a D&D module?
The players.
No, okay, Connell.
Oh, yes.
Wait, sorry.
Balancing your dungeon, right? That's the big thing in D&D. I don't got to balance shit in the superhero game. Why do I got to balance anything?
I don't balance my dungeons, so.
Okay, well, that's fair. And I agree with you on that. But, you know, most people are going to try and balance stuff, or they're going to try and make sure that, like, the dungeon isn't going to kill them in the first encounter and stuff. Dude, what's first step? Probably going to run into some goons, right? If we're doing a traditional type adventure, some goons. Players should mop the shit up out of the goons. The goons should be there as a speed bump to burn up some resources, burn up whatever hero point system they have, and then get them onto the show, right? Second act. What's the second act? Lieutenants, right? So I'm going up against Dr. Armageddon. Well, before I can fight Dr. Armageddon, I got to go through his four, horsemen of the Armageddon, Fireface, Stone Hands, Piss Dick, and, Wet Woman. And and I got to fight them first. And they're going to be tough. They might even be on par with my group of heroes that, roughly in the same power range. And it's going to be a fight. And we're going to have to use our brains on that. And then once all that's done, we get to take on Dr. Armageddon. But really, we shouldn't be getting into a straight up fist fight with Dr. Armageddon, because he should be at a level where a fist fight would hurt to fight him. So we got to outthink him. We got to outsmart him. We got to get him to make a mistake. We have to find a way to destroy his Armageddon device so that way he can't do what he needs to do. And then just when we think we got him, there's an explosion. Or he has an instant teleporter, which he beams out. "I'll get you next time, heroes." And he's gone. And they're like, "Fuck that guy. I fucking hate that guy."
In my experience, you do that, players always call foul.
No, they don't, because if they're comic book fans playing a superhero game, they understand it's trope. If they're a bunch of D&D people who want to play superheroes, they're being little whiny girls.
I've seen it done in D&D. I've seen it done in D&D and Pathfinder, in written modules. If there's a chance for him to get away with low hit points, he gets the fuck out. It's not...
So in the Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom, there's a great bit in the Marvel superheroes game where they talk about Doctor Doom. And this was actually part of the editorial writing staff for the comics, which is, if they beat Doom, it was a Doombot.
Yes.
No matter what. Even if you showed them with the mask off and you had DNA evidence, it was a Doombot. He just fooled you. He had all the stuff bases covered to make sure you thought that was really Doom. Fuck you. So much so that John Byrne, when he took over the Fantastic Four comic in the late 80s, he had a scene where Doom had come back and he gathered all the Doombots together. One of the things is Doombots, when they're facing Doom, immediately know they're Doombots, as opposed to when they don't, they think they're Doom, right? And as he's walking down the line of them, he stops at one and he just sort of, a little bit of a glance, and the guy's got a scuff on his armor. And he's like, "Why do you have that?" And the Doombot's like, when I was doing a team up with Arcade versus the X-Men, he lit a match on me, and you did not destroy him. I felt that we might need him at a later point in time. Doom turns away. The guy starts shaking and falls to pieces, and then Doom just says, "Doom needs no one," and exits. That's a villain. You understand? That's a character. You can't do that in D&D. You're right. Your players are going to cry. I hate this guy. He was a golem. We did a cast a spell, prove life, and it was life. Superheroes are different. They're very, very different. And if you don't have buy-in for superheroes, you're not going to have a good time playing a superhero game. It's going to feel empty. And anyone who's a superhero fan playing in that game is going to really hate it because they're going to be like, why do you guys suck so much? Sorry. Anyway, I should have gotten my friend Jason Tondero to come on here. He's got an actual PhD in superheroes. We call him Dr. Superhero, and he shows up on a lot of podcasts talking about superhero stuff. He'd be great to answer questions for you guys. But if I'm here, you get me. I only have a master's degree.
I find myself into a superhero game. I do play, Jade's right for slightly calling me out for it. Most of my characters I model after one superhero or the other just because I grew up reading comic books. And I'll use my variation, what I think John Constantine is, I think Green Arrow is, I think what this character could be and what the build should look like. I mean, there was a time where me and Jade would go see movies and try to figure out, okay, that's Spider-Man. What class would Spider-Man be? And just re-instruct it, deconstruct and re-instruct it to make it, comic book or D&D friendly.
Why don't you just play a superhero game instead where you don't have to do all that legwork and you have it all done for you and you can just make Spider-Man?
Because once again, I don't know.
We didn't have the money to purchase all the different game systems.
ClassicMarvelForever.com. Every PDF for the Marvel game is available. WotC and Marvel have both just gone, whatever. They don't care that it's there. You can get all the adventures. You can get all the rule books. ClassicMarvelForever.com. Don't go to the forums. They're a bit toxic. But everything else you could want is there, including house rules and just fantastic expansions. But all the core original stuff is available on PDF gratis.
That sounds fun. With my luck, I'll probably be the one end up DMing it.
Well, how about this, Connell? Why don't you wait another little bit when I have the final edit on the heroic done, and I'll run you a heroic game.
Yes, please.
I should have worn my heroic T-shirt tomorrow, but I didn't feel like wearing red.
I don't know. I mean, okay, here's a question. You've ran basic RPG games, Dungeons & Dragons, I imagine, Pathfinder. What do you find to be easier to run mechanically, the basic RPG games or a superhero system?
Depends on the superhero system. Mutants and Masterminds? God, no. Champions? God, no. Villains and Vigilantes? God, no, because there's so much math and there's such crunchy systems. Bash? Easy. Marvel? All I need is a color chart. I don't even need the rule books, and I can run that game. I just need the resolution chart. And even then, I can find that online, right? Make a cheat sheet, write all my numbers down, an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm good to go. It's pretty much.
Now, in the comments, we've got Dale Russell saying that fantasy is much easier to run.
Dale causes trouble, and Dale's a snark of highest levels, Jade. I'm warning you now. Don't buy into Dale. Dale's a very good friend, but he likes to be there and make little snarky comments.
Well, I guess my question, because again, I'm more into the fantasy genre and fantasy theme of gaming. This just happens to be where I've spent most of my time in game mastering. What is the primary difference between a fantasy game genre versus superhero genre? Like, if I was to try to run a superhero game, what ideology would I have to fix or change about the way I run my fantasy games to make them more aligned with superhero games?
Well, okay, so what are superheroes? What is a superhero game? What is a superhero story? It's a brawl. It's a mystery. Soap opera. For sure it's going to be a soap opera. Without a doubt, you're going to have soap operatic elements in it. I mean, Spider-Man's a soap opera. My uncle died because I was arrogant, and now I've got to take care of my old aunt, but she hates Spider-Man because she sees him as responsible for Uncle Ben's death, but I'm Spider-Man, and I can't let anybody know who I am, but I got to do the right thing all the time, but I got to get my grades up, and I got to work part-time at the Daily Bugle. I mean, come on. That's Spider-Man, right? Soap opera, brawl, romance, mysteries, adventures. You can do anything with a superhero game. That's the freedom of it. No, I don't find superhero games hard to run at all. I find superhero games exceptionally easy to run. Because really, I don't know what to do tonight. I haven't got a game. Okay. I have a crew that I created for my universe called the Metal Militia. Who are the Metal Militia? They're a bunch of asshole ex-military guys with power armor that they bought or pieced together or stole or whatever. And they take stupid missions to go rob banks and diamond exchanges. Great. We're going to go fight the Metal Militia tonight. That's going to take an hour and a half. And while that's happening, I might have other ideas that I can throw at the players while we're doing that, right? But otherwise, it's just so easy to do. It's insane.
The Wrecking Crew from Thor.
The Wrecking Crew are tough.
Okay, I believe you. You were talking about it. I'm like, that sounds like the Wrecking Crew. The other thing I find, I mean, I haven't run a superhero game, but I think if I was looking for ideas, there is just millions and millions of comic books out there that I can do research on to do I mean, yeah.
But don't you fall into the danger of having the pre-written script before players even start rolling dice at that point?
Dear God, no. Okay, so
How do you
if you want
prevent that?
to play a sandbox, yeah, you're shit out of luck in a superhero game. A sandbox is going to be really weird. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to wander around the city looking for bad things to happen. Then I'll just deal with the bad things that happen. Okay, that's great. That's the most boring aspect of superheroes, but you can do it. But hey, I'm wandering around the city looking for bad things to happen. Then I come across these guys who are stealing stuff from a warehouse. Well, I'm going to go stop them. And then suddenly they're pulling out big laser weapons. Where did a bunch of goons get laser weapons? And now I'm on the road to discover what's going on. And now I'm going somewhere with the story. Characters are going to make nemesi as they go along. They're going to listen. You can set out to plan a nemesis, or you can just let a nemesis happen during a game.
The random bad guy that just keeps coming back.
No, but that happened in one of my games. The first game of my campaign, which was in 1980. They fought a couple of guys. One guy was named Mega Man, the other guy was named King. And his whole thing was, I'm King. And he was very, very aggressive. And he was basically, I called him King because he was a Jack Kirby style character, Jack the King Kirby. And he was called King. And then every now and then I'd have him show up in the campaign looking for revenge for that first beating they gave him. And they'd always beat him again. But he was just like, he kept coming back for more. And when we got to the end of the campaign and the big climax came and they were fighting these goons and they had uncovered this whole conspiracy and they got to the final boss of it all, it was him. And they were like, what the fuck? What? Him? But he's a loser. And he's like, I've improved because of you. And it's like, yeah, that's right. You guys made him. He was a loser, but he got so tired of having his ass handed to him by you guys, he buckled down and learned, and got better and built a network and got goons and did this and stole great powerful weapons and all this stuff just so he could beat you assholes, That was a satisfying campaign.
That reminds me of the scene in Watchmen where they're talking about the one villain who kept coming back, or the one guy who tried being a supervillain kept coming back and bothering the heroes. And finally, like, whatever happened to that guy? Oh yeah, he tried that shit on Rorschach, and Rorschach dropped him down an elevator shaft.
Threw him down an elevator shaft, exactly. That's not funny, yeah. But that's the way it goes, right?
I mean, was it the Ninja Turtle?
This is a new channel. Sorry, you didn't get unsubbed from my channel. I changed my primary channel to TSRPG, the Society for Role-Playing Gamers, and I made a private channel, a separate channel for just my shit, so that way we can separate the two and let one be one and me be offensive. That's all. Sorry.
I was going to say, the new Ninja Turtles game. I mean, the Ninja Turtles are superheroes.
I like Warlord.
What?
I mean, I only read really towards the end of my comic book time two, maybe three comics. That was Hellraiser, Sandman, and Warlord. So that's
the only one that's a superhero out of that is Constantine, Hellraiser, and he is
Right.
definitely an anti-hero.
I know, but those are like the superheroes I actually invested money in. So sorry, the
Oh, man.
DC comics I actually invested money in.
The latest Ninja Turtle story, The Last Ronin, is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you
Actually, you bring up a good genre type is the anti-hero. Now, Barry, you said that when you run your superhero games, the heroes have to have hearts of gold.
Yep.
Does that leave room for someone who wants to play a more anti-hero character?
And name me an anti-hero that's popular that doesn't have a heart of gold.
Oh, nah.
There's a great scene.
I'm going
in
to say
Books of Magic.
Deadpool.
Deadpool has a heart of gold. My God, Deadpool goes out of his way to help people all the time. He's just a dick about it, but he still goes out of his way to help people,
He's
right?
just a dick.
Look how he treats Atomic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah.
He mocks her constantly, but he's trying to help her be a better hero.
Here's a comic where I haven't read the entire thing, but there was a strip where a young lady was going to cancel herself, and Deadpool saved her from doing it. He ended up dropping her off at the hospital at the end of the comic. There's more to it, but that's just what I remember from it. Anti-hero that does not have a heart of gold. My first
Anti-hero, not a piece of shit, an anti-hero.
Right,
Even Punisher has a heart of gold.
Gold. That was my first answer. I'm like, no, that doesn't work.
Pinhead's not an anti-hero. He's a monster. Jesus.
He just revels in killing the guilty more than the innocent is all. That's the closest to him being a hero.
Your suffering will be legendary, even in hell. I mean, come on. That's not an anti-hero. That's a villain.
He's a priest of hell. Yeah, I can't.
So you really wouldn't consider Warlord to even be a superhero comic?
No, it's a sword and sorcery comic.
Oh, but I thought it was part of the same universe.
It is, but it happens in Skitaris, and it's Travis Morgan running around with a gun that never runs out of bullets. It's a 6-shooter that never runs out of bullets. It's so amazing. I'm rereading the entire series right now. But I mean, what does he do? He fights evil sorcerers. He rescues the girl. He fights dinosaurs. It's a fucking sword and sorcery comic. It's a stranger in a strange land sword and sorcery comic, or in anime terms, it's an isekai, I guess.
Where would you throw Doc Savage into this?
So Doc Savage is a prototype. Doc Savage, the Shadow, the Phantom, they're the prototypes for superheroes, right? They're the two-fisted adventurers. They're the mystery men, and mystery men come right before superheroes, right? And then Superman shows up in 38, and boom, superheroes take off. Everybody's got to have a guy in a set of tights, with the power. So they aren't superheroes; they're mystery men. They're men of action. They're that's the term most of us use for them is mystery men.
And so you wouldn't suggest being able to do those in a standard superhero campaign?
If you have the right system. Heroic can do that, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering. But yeah, if you have the right system, a system that takes that into account and doesn't make it silly, and that's one of the things I don't like about Mutants and Masterminds is you have power level, and then you go 1 or 2 power levels over that, and that character's going to mop the floor with a power level. That's not good balance.
Because listening to this conversation, I'm figuring out that the comics I enjoyed growing up were not superhero comics. But they had the word DC written on them, so I
yeah. You ever read Sword of the Atom?
No, I did not.
You like Warlord? You like Sword of the Atom? You ever read Micronauts?
Yeah.
A few.
That's pretty much sci-fi. Right?
Nick Fury and the Howling Commanders weren't superheroes.
That's war comics, dude. There's a difference. War comics are a whole other beast. That's a whole other subgenre. Ghost Tank, Johnny Rebel, stuff like that. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, you can literally do anything. And if you're doing a team book, well, you can always just look at the All-Star Squadron, the Avengers, the Justice League, the Justice Society of America. All these teams showed you the way of how you can have everybody together. You just got to have a system that accounts for that, and that's the secret, is having the right system.
Yeah, because it's something. My problem is that I was building towards those kind of characters and not towards what everybody else was playing.
Yeah, but that's fine. There's room for you on the team. There's always room for one guy like that on the team, right? The X-Men have Wolverine. The Avengers have Hawkeye. You know, the Justice League had Green Arrow, the moral conscious voice of the team, who was always getting in Batman's face and Superman's face and challenging them because he played by a different rhythm. But at the end of the day, what do all three of those characters have in common? They're there to fight crime. They're there to protect people. They're there to do the right thing. There's a fantastic issue of Moon Knight where he's on the Avengers, and they're lecturing him. They're giving him shit about like how he's never showing up for meetings, and when they need him for missions, he's never there because he's always doing his own thing, and he's just sitting there listening to them. And then he gets a call on his radio, and he goes, the call I've been waiting for. Excellent. And then they turn around and they go, but we've decided to give you another chance. And his Avengers card is burning on the table, and he's not there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so you can have that type of fun stuff in a game, and you can have characters that don't fit. But if everybody's playing the lone wolf who lives on the edge and plays by his own rules, your game's going to degenerate into shit and chaos because no one's going to work together. You need the characters that are going to pull the group together.
So how do you curb that? How do you prevent everybody from being that lone wolf Batman, character?
You got to know who you're playing with, man. You got to make sure that the people that you are working with have a love of superheroes. If they just want to play a bunch of mystery men, well, run a mystery men game where they go fight Nazis in 1945, and you'll be fine.
Hey.
And then when Master Man shows up and he can lift a tank and they can't, and bullets bounce off them, they're going to shit bricks and try and hopefully work together to take them down, or they're all going to get their asses beaten, wind up strapped in Nazi death ray machines where they're going to be turned into atomic zombie soldiers or something, whatever. You have fun.
I want to sign up for that game. That game sounds fun.
Hey, remember, Captain America wants you to punch a Nazi.
Yeah.
I have
Look,
that.
all I want is my flying battleship Zeppelin carrier to go fight Nazis. That's all I want.
So it sounds like you want to play something a little more, Sky Captain.
Yes.
And that's fine. There's room for that. The Rocketeer. Have you ever watched The Rocketeer?
I love that one.
See, that's right up your alley. So again, Connell, what's your favorite Golden Age superhero? World War II type superhero?
Oh,
top of your head.
My head would probably be Cap.
Captain America. Great. Okay. TCG. Who's your favorite that era type superhero?
I never got into comic books.
Okay. Why are you here?
Yeah.
You're superhero.
To learn. You're here to learn.
Okay. Fine.
I
So
have tried
Captain
superhero
America.
games.
Okay. What was the type of character you played?
I never played one. I tried to DM it. Nobody the GM for me ever wanted to GM a superhero game because we go straight to the goody two shoes argument. And
So you don't like superheroes, and you tried to run a superhero game? That is a monumental Herculean task you set before yourself, sir. I'm impressed.
I didn't say I didn't like superheroes. I said I never read the comics.
So what is your exposure to superheroes then? Cartoons, comic, animated series? Movies?
Yes and no. My very first experience with any superhero was the 1988, I think it was, Batman.
Oh, the Burton
Very
Batman.
first. Yeah, that was my very, very first experience with any sort of superheroes. And that's probably where my love for Batman came from, just because it was the first one. And I have been kind of interested in superheroes since, but admittedly, the big thing for me is something that Bear talks about all the time as being the good part about superheroes. It's like, sorry, I will always love the superheroes that put the bad guys in the hospital or in the morgue.
Okay, so you like the
that shit
anti-heroes.
should be. Yeah, I know, but that shit should not be allowed to continue. Like the Joker, Imagine what would have happened in that fucking world in Gotham if the Batman had just killed the Joker.
That's absolutely true. And then what happens when Batman decides, Commissioner Gordon's out of line? And then what happens when Batman decides the mayor's out of line? Hey, what happens when Superman decides the president's out of line? That's why heroes are heroes, because they're not judge, jury, and executioner. And that's why anti-heroes act like that, because they feel they have that right, which means eventually they're going to run into the heroes. And you have great moments like Captain America versus the Punisher. I don't know if you guys have ever read the Civil War comic that came out about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
There's a bit where Cap is pissed at Punisher and he lays into him and he starts hitting him. And Frank's not fighting back. And Cap's beating him. And then Cap just stops because he realizes he's just beating him. And he walks away in disgust. And they're like, everyone else is like, Frank, why didn't you fight back? And he goes, it's Captain America. And you realize Frank Castle's a fanboy for Captain America, and there was no way he was going to fucking lay a fist on him or take a shot at him because it's Captain America. That's what makes superheroes golden, is the idea of having that character, or having that ideal of there is an ultimate good, and it's not a bunch of paladins. It's not a bunch of do-gooders sticking their nose into things. That's villain talk. And clearly, some of you guys want to play villains. Go ahead, have a great time. There's games for it. But that noble ideal, that's something missing from our modern culture right now. Let's be honest. You watch all those Avengers films. Everybody loves Tony Stark, right? Tony Stark's the best. Oh my God, Tony Stark. Chris fucking Evans is Captain America. Oh, when you watch the fucking the one before Civil War, Winter Soldier. Oh my God, where he's like in the shield carriers and he's in the elevator with all those guys and he realizes shit's about to go down. When he's grabbing the helicopter and he's trying to keep it from getting. That's heroics. Heroics are awesome, but we live in a jaded, cynical society. Batman is more popular than Superman these days, and I have a whole speech about that I'm not going to do. But the point is that know who's playing and then cater to them.
I just want to fight Hydra. That's all I want.
Awesome. And so here's what I do. Let's say we were going to run a game together. Okay. Hey, there's Lady America. You want to see her punching out Hitler? I got some art I can show you.
Yes.
Later, I promise. Here's how I do it. Okay, Bruce, you're here with us? You got your mic on, Bruce? No. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So let's say I'm going to run a game. Okay, I'm going to run a game for you 5 guys. We're going to play a superhero game. Bruce, who's your favorite superhero?
My favorite was always Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Great. That's all I need to know. Spider-Man. TCG, who's your favorite superhero? Sorry, Batman?
He's going.
He said Batman. I didn't.
Okay.
Batman is not actually my favorite. My favorite. Batman's my second favorite.
Okay.
My favorite is the Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. Okay, great. Kai, who's your favorite superhero?
Constantine.
John Constantine. Beautiful. Jade, who's your favorite superhero?
I have to put a little more thought into it. Ask Connell that.
Top of your head. When I say superhero,
I've got too many. I've got like 18 tied for first.
Okay, you take a thought. I'll go to Connell. Connell, who's your favorite superhero?
Thank you.
I'll be Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. Beautiful. Okay. Sorry, Jade, we didn't get you much of a time on that one. Can you just pick one real quick for fun? It's just for a thought.
I'm going to go Flash. I'm going to go with the Flash.
Beautiful. Okay. So, Bruce, I'm sorry I got so far into theirs, I forgot which one you said. Spider-Man. Okay, so Spider-Man, is it the powers or the character you like?
I like the character.
Okay, so it's a young guy who's doing his best, who's out there trying
I
to make
watched
a difference.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends when I was a young kid.
Okay.
And when you're like 7, that sells you.
Okay, great. Beautiful. TCG, you said a Green Lantern. Why?
Yes.
Why is he your favorite superhero?
Because of the massive will it takes to properly wield one of those rings.
Okay, so the fact that this guy has an indomitable will is what you like most about him. Beautiful.
Yes.
Kai, you said
Constantine.
Constantine. Why is Constantine your favorite? What is it about Constantine you love?
Snark and knowledge and the ability to make it to sell himself off like 8 different directions and still come out on top.
So you love his cunningness. It's the cunningness of the man that is appealing to you, and I agree. It's one of the best aspects of Constantine. I could have let it go. I won the day, but nah, I wouldn't be me. Yeah, Satan. Right? I mean,
that's exactly why I like it.
I get you. Connell, why Green Arrow?
I like the archery aspect of it. I think
okay. So you like trick arrows, you're into the archery thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We don't have to go too deep into the weeds on this one. Jade, I'm so sorry I got lost in all theirs. I forgot which one you said. Flash. Why Flash?
Flash. Part of it's the power, part of it's the intelligence that of how to use the power appropriately.
Okay. So notice, other than Connell, none of you said the reason you liked your character that you picked was because of superpowers or what they did. It was who they are. And there's the secret to putting together your superhero team. Hey, Bruce, we're going to make a character. We'll roll up his powers or we'll figure out some powers, whatever the case may be. But you're going to be playing the guy who's trying to do the right thing despite all the odds being against him and not being, feeling maybe he's even insecure or something like that. But we'll figure it out. Okay, great. TCG. You're going to play a guy who never quits, no matter what. His whole thing is he never gives up. We'll figure out the powers, but he never gives up. That's the hook you're going to hang your hat on. Kai, you're going to be playing a guy who's always got an angle, always trying to figure out what he's going to do. We'll figure out what powers it is. Maybe it'll be magic, maybe it'll be something else, but that's where we're going to start with your base of your character. Connell, we're going to give you a bow and arrow.
That's fine. I'm happy with the bow and arrow. I don't know. I see where you're going with that, though.
Jade, I'm sorry. I'm really tired, guys, and I just had a cup of coffee, so I'm waking up. It was the reason for Flash. It was
mostly the power, the ability to move exceptionally fast, but it was also the intelligence of how to use the power.
Okay, so you're talking Barry Allen. Okay, beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to make your character's going to be a scientist, and we'll make sure your powers relate to your field of science, so that way you can sort of figure out how you're going to do that, right? And that'll be the thing that'll be your buy-in. So now we figured out all the hooks you hang your hats on. Now all we got to decide is, what does the campaign look like? Does it look like Watchmen? Does it look like Avengers? Does it look like Justice League? Does it look like The Boys? Does it look like Mystery Men? Does it look like The Tick? Whatever we decide, we now know what kind of characters we're able to make. Clearly, whatever it looks like, Kai is going to make the character that doesn't look like he belongs in that group, because that's what appeals to Kai. Therefore, Kai will have a great character that will get what he wants, and he'll get to get his stuff and enjoy it without disrupting the overall campaign, because he's still bought into being on a team. You see what I'm saying, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense, or am I just talking crazy?
Makes perfect sense.
No, you hit right on the nose of, I never make a character if it fits in the party anyway, so why change now?
There you go, right? So this is the thing. This is how you put together a good game of superheroes, especially when you don't have a bunch of players that really love superheroes. Everybody's got one superhero they like, right? It's like Michael Jackson. Everybody's got one Michael Jackson song they like, right? So that's just the way it is. You just find that hook. And once they have the hook, you can build the campaign out from there. And then you ask questions. What kind, you do a little session zero stuff. What kind of adventures do you want to go on? What kind of villains do you want to fight? If they're like, oh, we just want to do local street level stuff. Okay, great. We're going to do low power versions of all these characters. The speedster's only going to be able to run maybe 150 miles an hour, just slightly faster than an average car, right?
Can
the arrow guys.
Run City of Heroes for us?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you run a live tabletop version of City of Heroes? We fucking just go ape shit about that.
City of Heroes is a great game. I'm still playing. I love it.
I just read they brought it back. They
didn't bring it back. It's been around since about just around the beginning of the pandemic. The homecoming server's been up, but they just got official license sanction from NCSoft, I think it's NCSoft or Cryptic, whoever the Korean company is that owns it. They gave them permission to do this officially. It's cool.
I can go back and play my Brainless Swordsman again.
Yeah. My group, my channel, and all of us over on my Discord, we have an SG, a super group on the Torchbearer server. So if you guys want to come hang out with some Z-Nuts, we sometimes get together and go and do some missions and fight Arachnos, which is my favorite villains is Arachnos, because they're so hard. I even made a character. I made a character called Arachnos Man, who is like a Spider-Man, but he uses just gadgets. And his whole thing is that, like, even though no one cares in City of Heroes, his whole backstory is he was an Arachnos goon. They did some experiments on him. He said, fuck this, and left, and then decided I have to stop them. So his whole thing is about fighting Arachnos as Arachnos Man. But that's neither here nor there. So now that we know what we want to do, we just filter through the funnel, and then boom, our campaign arrives. And with that campaign, you could play for years. And a player can't show up that day? Okay. It's not like D&D. It's not like D&D where Bob didn't show up. Oh, we're fucked. We don't have Bob, and we're halfway through the dungeon. Oh, we're halfway through Dr. Doom's lair, and Kai can't show up. Well, Kai, being the asshole individualist he is, slipped off. Oh, we can't play because the speedster didn't show up. He rounded a corner and didn't react fast enough and bounced his head off an I-beam, and now he's unconscious, etc., etc., etc.
It'd be fun.
Keep playing.
Pay no attention to the fact that I just stole all the bad guys' tapestries and artwork.
Yeah. Ooh, he's mad now, right?
I know, but I have a tapestry now.
But the point
Dude,
is,
you're decorating your apartment in an early villain. Come on. Stop.
That's right. Vintage villain.
so Connell, you want to try joining the rest of us and give us something other than a power set and a personality to go with that character, so we can really find something for you to play?
Yeah.
Guy sounds like Eric Lindros. That's funny. Oh my god. You guys get it? It's a hockey joke.
Yeah, I got it.
Between the Lindros brothers, between the two of them, had 16 concussions. I saw a comedian one time who said, he goes, what must Christmas dinner be like at their house? I like soup. Mom makes good soup. They just have way too many.
That's cranberry.
They were the goons in Slapshot, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, God, no. The Lindros brothers? Not at all.
No.
No. That's something. The Lindros brothers are real hockey players who played in the NHL, who between the two of them had 16 concussions.
I'm not that out of it.
Anyway, so Connell, give me a personality to go with your guy.
Archer, survivalist, vet.
So you want to do Punisher with a bow?
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
I'm not judging. I'm asking.
yeah, I could do that.
Okay, so now we've got the guy that's a little on edge and might side with Kai more often than everybody likes, but even Kai is cunning enough to realize this guy's a potential loose cannon, and I can't, he's a useful tool if I point him in the right direction, but I better keep control of him. Boom. Now you've got a whole team. Now we just need costumes, code names, and powers, and we can play.
I have people of culture in my stream in the chat right now.
I'm sorry, what?
I have people of culture that come to this because of all of our different personalities and where you reach out to. Six Nation says, do not confuse the Lindros brothers with the McKinsey brothers, Connell.
Hey, coach, we're going to win today, coach.
Talking
actually
about
watched
personalities
Slapshot
of
again
comic
last
book
year.
heroes. Fucking getting Doctor Strange and John Constantine to the same room.
Okay, that's dangerous being weird.
That'd be amazing.
No, I don't want that.
I want
It would be so awesomely weird.
Sorry, just to talk to Walter MC for a quick second. And he says, you got to have a gimmick. And I says, oh, I got a gimmick, baby. High explosives. Sorry, it's a Tick reference. Couldn't find Tick. Found a nice pie. So now let's keep going. Bruce, what powers does your young novice, slightly insecure, overwhelmed hero, what's he going to have? What kind of powers do you want to have? That's the next question.
I want to have an ability to accentuate my GTFO mentality. Like the insecurity thing, I would be okay riding that well into adulthood, but I want to be able to, like, when I need to go, like, trigger my webbing ability to yank and yoink and yeet me out of that comic panel to where the others are left behind. I'm done. I'm 3 blocks over. And
so you don't want to play, is what you're telling me.
No. I didn't say I didn't want to play. I said that, like, when my insecurity pops up way too much, I would use my superhero power for that. But
Okay.
whenever it comes time for a fight, I'm too dumb to use my superpowers for the right thing.
So let's just give you teleportation and go with that as a power.
I don't know, because if teleportation is almost too OP.
No, it's not.
You don't
no,
think
it's
so?
not. Dear God, no, it's not.
I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for many years.
That's
I
the
think-
problem. You're looking at this from a D&D point of view. Look at it from
I
an X-Men
can't
point of
help
view. Is
that.
Nightcrawler OP?
I was gonna. Nightcrawler was tied for first place with Flash
Nightcrawler is awesome.
for me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He teleported from Earth to basically hell, then back to Earth when he teleported.
Okay.
So,
No, what I'm saying is, Bruce, I would give you homework if we were getting ready to run this campaign. I'd say, dude, go watch the opening sequence in X-Men 2 when
Okay.
Nightcrawler attacks the White House.
I remember that.
And
Yeah,
then you'll be like,
mainstream
yeah, I
fight.
want to play a teleporter. That looks fucking awesome. And then you have the weakness of the insecurity overwhelms him and he has to make a willpower check. And if he doesn't save his willpower check, he teleports the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And then maybe comes back later in the fight when he's got his shit back together. So there you go. Now you got a whole character based around one power.
Sure.
One. And this character could be played and you could do tons of stuff with him. Good. All right. Moving on. TCG, what's the power set that interests you for this man of determined will?
Problem is, I'm a power gamer.
Okay, that's
My
fine.
first
What-
thought is get every
So?
single power I could
okay,
possibly
you
get.
can't have every
relative-
single power, or we can fuck with you. We can absolutely fuck with you. We'll give you omni power,
Oh no.
Oh,
oh God.
but we'll give you some limitations. There's a great one. If you ever read Legion of Superheroes, Ultra Boy can have any power, but he can only have one at a time. He
Oh,
can't
God.
double up on the powers. So he has to choose his powers. And there's another weakness he has, which is a great weakness for a game. It takes one round to switch powers. And for that one round between switch, he has no powers and is completely vulnerable.
I can live with that.
Now you got to play smart.
Uh huh.
Oh God. And he
There
can
you
only
go.
have the powers to the guy next to him. They have to be like in his range.
No, now you're getting mean. I think just having the ability, he's got an omni power. He can have any superhero power possible. It takes him a round to switch, and he can only have one power active at a time. While I'm falling, I have a choice: invulnerability for when I hit the ground, or flight. Let's see how this works out. Right? I got one round to make a decision, and then I'm fucking committed. Beautiful.
You
Kai.
got basically Mega Man right there.
There you go. Kai, what's your power?
I just want. Can I have two? Just two minor ones?
Well, what's the power concept? And we'll see if there's two
Okay,
powers or
I
one
kind
power.
of want to have good luck. Like, if I'm looking for something, I find it, or I can just be in the right place at the right time, just not completely realizing it. That's really what it comes down to. Is just simply if the odds are, I want the odds in my favor. That's really what it comes down to.
Okay. And what was the other power?
It was about hand size, be able to just like pull, make a small, visual range, hand size object, summon it to me. That's about all I want.
Okay, so the luck is easy. You just have probability manipulation with some limitations on it, which is can't be used offensively. And it boils down to this: in a percentile game system, you roll 2d10. You don't pick the highest one. Whichever one's the highest is the one, which makes you really amazing. Because every time you roll those dice, whatever the highest die is your tens die. But sometimes, oh shit, my camera froze. I'll be right back, guys. I got to leave and come back in for the camera. I apologize.
Let us know.
I want to quote Deadpool so damn bad. Luck is not a superpower.
Luck is a superpower, motherfucker. It is a superpower. Luck is a legit superpower. Back off.
Ooh, you got to be careful with your wordage. I want luck. What kind of luck? I don't know. Luck. Okay, you
Good
have
luck.
bad luck.
Look,
Okay.
look.
I'm
The
back.
idea is playing the character as though they were like a private investigator. How do you find everything? I just do.
See, and that's fine. That's a trope, and it works, and it's good. As for the teleporting stuff into your hand, that would be something we could look at. I don't know how it would do. Maybe it'd be
I want to have at
telekinesis.
least one special thing. That's like, oh man, they have bullets in their gun. I don't want to get into a fight. I want their bullets in my hand. 'Cause I don't want to fight someone. Like I don't want pain in my direction. Therefore, disarm people so I can run away faster.
So how about this? How about a different thing instead of that? How about when you have good luck for yourself
and bad luck
and
there.
you get bad luck to other people? So it's not that the bullets, but the clip fell out of his gun, or the bullet
exactly what I-
misfires, or it jams. So you just got probability manipulation. Good luck for you, bad luck for others. There you go.
I'd be okay with that.
Powers
That
karma.
was
Remember?
hilariously fun.
Every now and then the wheel spins around, and you're going to get the bad luck.
Of course.
There we
Look,
go. All right.
I mean,
Beautiful.
I'm a major section player.
Your
therefore I feel
superhero name is
Paradox
Karma.
happening.
No, the black cat.
Paradox happens.
Oh,
I
it's-
How
accept
about
that.
Paradox?
His
Paradox
superhero
is
name
a
is
great
Karma.
name. Mr.
Paradox.
Paradox.
Yeah, Paradox.
He's going for that Constantine thing, right? Mr. Paradox, Dr.
Yep.
Paradox, something like that. That's
Remember-
fun.
I'm gonna write that one down. I actually want to play that character now in the future.
Entropy. Just call him Entropy. Connell, you want archery for an ex-military guy? Does he use a lot
Yeah.
of trick arrows, or does he use a lot of damaging arrows?
Yes, and
Okay,
You know
first
you
I
want the
can't
trick.
see you behind your
I
name.
want it. Don't get me wrong. I want the trick. I'm thinking. I don't want the trick, but no, I'd say the damaging ones.
So he's going to be more Punisher. So you're going to have some edged arrows, some blunt arrows, and maybe some explosive arrows, right? That's
Right.
about it.
Yeah.
And we'll see where you go from there. If you guys meet a super scientist, maybe they can gadget you up some cooler shit that doesn't kill people. So there you go. Okay, done. There you go. Guy
So
came
good
back
for
from
fun.
being in the war. Depending on what era we cast this in, maybe it's the 80s, which I love to play in. So he's ex-Vietnam vet. If it's modern age, he was over in Afghanistan or Iran or Mogadishu or something, and he's come back. He was an archery guy, and this is this thing he's going to do now. Beautiful, done, great character. Jay, do you want super speed, right?
Yes, with the intelligence to use it appropriately.
Oh, actually, no, we didn't say super speed. We said we were going to pick a scientific ability, and that was going to be your character's thing. So, what other than super speed? Because we don't want to just make you Barry Allen. What would be an interesting thing? Like, you want flexibility, you want one note, you want what do you want out of this power?
Honestly, my favorite concept is time manipulation. Is
Ooh.
temporal
Yes.
manipulation.
Okay,
Speed up, slow down, stop, rewind slightly. That's always
Okay.
been one of my favorite things. Is time manip.
so how would we make you Connell's best friend? You built a device, a watch that you can use to stop time. But here's the thing: it stops for everybody else but you. So you stop time, run around, do all the things you want to do, and then start time again, right? So to them, it looks like you're just
God, I'm
magically
gonna
doing
ace very-
stuff,
very
but
quickly.
you're constantly like, oh, fuck. Okay, I want to go do this thing, but it's all the way over there. Stop time. All right, I got to run 10 blocks. Okay, I get the thing. And okay, now I'm going to come back and then start time again. You know what I mean? Like, so you could have a lot of fun with a character like that because you could be doing crazy shit and constantly making endurance feats to not pass out from running around and being a psycho behind time. And there's clearly going to be shit happening behind time that's eventually going to come haunt you. But because you're a scientist and a gadgeteer, you're a benefit to the team in other ways that you can make a communication system for them, or you can make some trick arrows for Calm, or whatever the case may be. You're now versatile for the team as well. And because you can stop time, you can look like a miracle worker. Let me get to work on that. I'll let you know. Click. Here's your thing. You just stayed up for 72 hours straight. But for them, it took a minute. You know
Pull
what
the
I
whole
mean?
Montgomery Scott.
Exactly.
Just pull the Scotty from Star Trek. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna take me 20 hours to do. 4 hours later, here you go. Here's your thing. Wait, what?
What, you okay, man? You look a little dark under the eyes. No, I'll be fine. I'm just gonna get some sleep. All right, I got a nap. You've been gone for 10 minutes. Yeah, I slept like 12 hours. It was great. But you've been gone for 10 minutes. I set the timer on the watch and I went to bed. There you go. And you can even, you want to go further on the Montgomery Scott thing, you can even call him Miracle Worker. You know what I mean? You can have fun with that.
It's a miracle.
So there you go. You've got a whole team of people now. All we need is a catalyzing event that brings them all together. The trial by fire that brings them together as a team where they have to save the day. And we got it. Boom. It's done. That's how easy a
So I
superhero
guess
game
my
can be.
So and that's one thing to say it. It's another to do it.
All right, what
what
do you want to play?
would be a catalyzing event
Shh,
for
that's
a
the
group
first
of heroes?
adventure.
Like,
That's the first adventure, right?
okay.
That's the first event. So it's always good. So what is the motto, the thing that they put at the top of the Avengers? They always call them the world's greatest heroes. But what is that first line they always say? there came a day, and that's how they start the story, right? There came a day when the threat was so big, blah, blah, blah. So Kai said he wants to fight Hydra. Okay. Cool. You guys are in your city doing whatever's going on, and whatever Hydra is in this campaign universe, if it's Marvel, it's Hydra. If it's DC, it's Intercrime. If it's mine, it's Skull, maybe. But they show up and are doing some shit, and you're all there. Whatever reason, you're in the area when it happens. You're watching it on TV. You get a phone call from someone. Whatever the case may be, you've got knowledge that this is happening. And because we're playing a superhero game, we don't need to motivate you through financial gain to go do stuff. Because again, remember, Heart of Gold means with great power comes great responsibility. And with that, you go, this is happening and I'm going to do something. Now, it could be because TCG's character is like, you know, I've got these powers and I've got to use them for a reason. And the reason today is going to be stopping these assholes. For Kai's character, Dr. Paradox, it could be, these guys are lunkheads. I'm going to go show them up. You know, I'm going to go think them.
Finally, all of my, I will now prove to the world that yes, the evil transdimensional space Nazis existed, and I can finally prove it.
Exactly. For Connell, it's like, finally, action. It'll be like I'm back over there. It'll be fine. Do it right. And he goes and he does it. For whatever your character, the Miracle Man or whatever he's going to be called, you know, Tempest Fugit or whatever the fuck. He's, you know, it's like he's where it's happening. It's happening in the building where he has his labs. It's at the university where he's a professor of temporal physics. And now it's like they're attacking and hurting students and because they've come to steal something from the university. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. And then off he goes to stop the crime, right? And then for Bruce's character, he's a student at that university studying. And now this shit's happening. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I got to do the right thing. I'm going to go do it. All right, I'm going to go to my locker and go and change into my costume. And I'm going to go fight these guys. And then you're all fighting the same bad guys together suddenly. And yeah, you're going to hurt each other and you're going to accidentally shoot each other and you're going to, you know, get into an argument after all said and done. But when it's done as a group, you've won the day. But maybe there's a bigger plot. Maybe there's a clue left behind. And suddenly Dr. Paradox is going, gentlemen, I think you need to understand this was much more than a raid. And what do you mean it was much more than a raid? Called, you know, Arrow Boy's like, you know, well, then let's go kick their ass. You know what I mean? Like you've got all your motivations right there in a simple fight that lets you, A, learn how to use your characters in the first battle. B, gives you villains that they can be made tough, but not overwhelming. So you have a chance to succeed without cakewalking it. And 3, drops a hook or a plot to keep you moving forward as a group.
So it actually sounds like running a superhero game, or at least the catalyzing incident, would actually be easier than a fantasy game, at least from my perspective, looking in on it, because that first adventure in a lot of my fantasy games has always been the difficult one, because I don't know what the motives of these individual characters are, and I don't know if I'm running a game for villains or not half the time. That's always been part of the problem with, especially with fantasy games. I don't know if I've got, you know, a party of murder hobos and one, you know, altruistic half paladin. You know, I never know what I'm walking into, especially with randos. But this, it actually sounds like it would be easier to run a superhero game because everybody's motivated to be a hero. So you can throw quite literally any catastrophic, cataclysmic, or even apocalyptic event at a city, and the heroes are going to show up. That's something you can kind of guarantee.
And you don't even have to do it at city level. You can do it on a focused area. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. You can have fun with it. And then once you start running it, man, you get to create villains. And that is the most fun ever. I took my Patreon down, but my Heroic Handbook Patreon, I had tons of villains I was creating for games and showing people with cool art and all that. It's just, you know, you got to do it. Yeah, in fantasy, the motivation is money, right? Or power, or stuff. It's ultimate capitalism, right? It's adventure capitalism at its finest. Superheroes, it's something a little more altruistic, maybe something a little more pathological, you know, maybe a little more deep in your fucking heart. But whatever it is, It's the reason for the season to kick some ass, and that's what makes it fun. So I'm going to offer you 5 guys this right now. When Heroic's ready, we can make all 5 of these characters, and we can run that catalyzing event as a game.
That sounds like fun. I'd be up
Yeah,
for
I
it.
mean, I'd be down for that.
I'll be down for that. Bruce?
I'm here.
TCG?
I said that sounds fun.
Oh, sorry. I see 2 faces, so I don't know who
Sorry.
is talking.
I've been very energetically happy about this. Okay, so
You know, the catalyzing event. To explain it before, I've always used the term the Coulson effect from the Avenger movie. They weren't a team until Coulson died. So if I'm running an RPG game, I will maybe kill somebody, kidnap somebody, something that makes the party, it's like, well, fuck, we need to work together to get this done.
Yeah, but you can save that for a later adventure.
yeah,
I was gonna
You
say
don't have to be-
when I do that for fantasy,
make us attached to them.
like
Hmm.
right, it takes time for those kind of attachments to grow in a fantasy game. In a superhero game, I don't know. I mean, it's still going to take time for things like that to grow and foster naturally. But if your character has a main squeeze like Clark Kent and Lois Lane, like yeah, your character is automatically tied intrinsically to this NPC. You're going to do whatever it takes to get them back. Because you are the hero. That is what you do. That's just the common trope. Whereas I wouldn't try pulling that with a party below level 5 in D&D because who's that NPC to them? Or do they actually care? Do the players actually care about that NPC that they've met 3 times at most? That's something I pull at like level 15 to 30 is your character has a family. Well, guess what? Your family's going missing, or your family's going to end up dead in the ground, or
You can
the house is
introduce them.
burnt down by an enemy.
You could
Like,
introduce him as a happy
At that
character.
point,
Well,
I mean, sure.
And then you could give them, when you introduce your NPCs, you don't have to say this is Bob, this is generic NPC of this race and demographic. What I used to do for Extreme Vengeance was when I would introduce characters, I'd have the actor that was starring as said NPC in a game. So, like, if you had to fight, like, say, 1989 Doctor Doom in my head, Doctor Doom was played by who played Fraser Crane?
Nelson.
Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
Him. I would announce that he's playing Doctor Doom because in my head he would have played a really good forward-thinking Doom. And so I always would do that because it would add one more layer of complexity to the game. And sometimes with some people, like they just can't stand that character actor. But if like you introduce like your sidekick and he's played by the guy that plays Long Duc Dong in 16 Candles, people will be like, oh my God, I love him. And so they'll try to keep him alive for a little bit, beyond a first act.
When I ran my first table breaker game where you guys were coming back from service, it was a holiday, and the Krampus was kidnapping family members. I thought that was a fairly decent, quick hook.
I was the only one with family.
No, Shadow had a sister.
Bruce and I were definitely
But,
not connected to anyone.
I didn't say it was a great hook.
If your players don't already start with a family, and this is, I think, the problem with most of the family games, or at least most of the fantasy games that I have run, is most players typically do not have family or extended relations beyond, people who are 3, 4, 5 towns over, or in an entirely another country. Like, it's always these loner characters who have literally no one else near them that I can exploit as a game master.
Here's the nice part about
And
building
I think
a superhero
that
game.
Say again?
say
Here's
again.
Here's the nice part about building a character for a superhero game advantages and disadvantages are a real thing, and people will take them to get better characters starting, and they take stuff like dependent, secret identity or public identity, whatever, and they give you the hooks with their character. Oh, your family lives in Bratislava and you're in New York City. It really sucks the day your Skype goes off and you turn it on and there's, Captain Cobra going, "I have your grandmother." And you're like, what the hell? What's going on? I got to go to Bratislava, guys. It's there. It's easy.
I mean,
D&D doesn't make it easy. Superheroes makes it easy.
Well, I mean, I think players can also make it easy if they're willing to take those kinds of those, as some might say, detriments. Whereas I think it's character building. In the current campaign, D&D campaign that I'm playing in on every other Saturday, I purposely made a character. He's an elf, 260 years old, has a family. He's already got a wife and 2 kids, and potentially a third on the way. He doesn't know. He's been off world for the last 3 months of the game, so he wouldn't know. But I purposely made a character that had family, so that the game master could actually use it to his advantage and my detriment. Do I expect him to do, awful things? Yes, actually I do. But, what's going to drive my paladin forward, when his family's in danger?
There you go.
The fact that the family's in danger is going to drive him forward, and he might sacrifice his paladin abilities and paladin code of ethics to see his family to safety.
If my GM will let me write, I will write. I will write you as much crap as I can get away with. If you give me disadvantages, flaws, and perks I can take, I will write everything.
Now, so I will say I have been told that.
Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you.
I was going to say I've been told that me adding a family to my characters, or including a family with my character for this campaign, I've been told by many people that was a dumb idea, that I shouldn't have done that I'm just opening myself up for failure. And I'm like, well, no, I'm sorry, you only think in one direction. I'm thinking in multiple directions. My character's already happy in life, and he's going out adventuring, doing his duty because that is his paladin order. He's fulfilling his paladin order.
I just threw you the link.
I guess I don't understand the mentality of. I just don't understand the mentality of, oh, why would you build a character with a great blaring weakness like that?
Because it's fun. Because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I want a flaw.
Can be, yeah.
I want something to hit me.
I threw you guys the link in the private chat if you want to share it with the group for the Heroic Beta playtest Pay What You Want that's up on Drive-Thru right now. We're just doing one more edit pass, which will be updated here. And then in the middle of February, we're going to backer kit with it. So if people want to check out the game before it's even live, go ahead. The link, you can post the link in the chat. I can't post it in the chat, sadly. But you want it, it's there, man. Go ahead. Check it out.
Come on, do it. Do it.
Do it. Come on, do it. What's wrong with you? Do it.
I got a question for you, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite? You've asked everybody else. Who's your top of the line favorite superhero?
It's a tie
Between?
Superman and Captain America.
Okay. All right.
It's pretty self-evident when you think about it, right? Why?
Yeah.
I also like playing Paladins, so that's me. But there you go.
Paladins.
But if I had to pick, if you said you can't pick Superman or Captain America, okay. Bronze Age, Miss Marvel, and Rogue, which works out perfectly because Rogue steals all of Miss Marvel's memories and powers. Love Rogue until they brought her back, and then they turned her into a cutesy sex symbol versus
90s.
Yeah, well, there you go. But yeah, if you guys want to go pick up Heroic, you can pick it up, pay what you want, not an issue. Give me 0 cents, give me $1,000,000 cents. It's up to you, but it's there. It's bare bones, but it's playable as is. We're doing an edit pass to make sure everything makes sense. We've got some proofreading going on to catch all the errors, and then in middle of February, we're going to go to Backer Kit. The Backer Kit will go live, and it's going to be $15 for the PDF, $35 for the print-on-demand soft cover through Drive-Thru, and $45 for the print-on-demand hardcover through Drive-Thru. And there will be an option to get both soft and hardcover together if you want. And if you take the books, you get the PDF included.
Makes a great deal of sense.
Awesome.
Walker's got a question for Bear if somebody wants to light it up.
Yeah, I saw it. No, I didn't. I really didn't like that character at all. I thought some of the amalgam characters were really poorly done and some were really good. Like Speed Demon was awesome. The Flash crossed with Ghost Rider was amazing. There was the one White Witch, which was Scarlet Witch crossed with Zatanna, was amazing. And some of them were
Dark
just
Claw
dumb.
sucked.
Huh?
Dark Claw sucked.
Dark Claw sucked, and Spider Claw, not Spider Claw, Superboy, which was Spider Man and Superboy cross, was really lame. Some of them were bad, but some of
And
them were
the
really,
Joker, the Joker Sabretooth one was interesting.
yeah.
I've been reading comics. I still read comics, not as much as Flady is. He's been putting on Discord, but I will still pick up a stack of comic books from time to time and hammer through them. I think they're fun to play. I do, as I said earlier in this conversation, I do use them as concepts for my fantasy campaign games because I don't really see the difference between the two. It's just the setting.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, man.
So do you know where these questions are, Bruce?
No, I don't.
Uh-huh.
So you guys had questions about superhero games that you can't find?
Yeah, Garrett put them somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, Baron G.
I think we asked a good
Yeah,
chunk of good questions, though. I really do.
We've been having fun with it. It's natural.
All I'm going to say is look how excited you five got.
Very. And I would have asked this much about Heroic. For long-term play, does it hold up?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
I ran a 1.5-year campaign with the playtest version. The only thing that stopped it was pretty much the pandemic.
Okay.
That stopped a lot of things.
And when it comes to the fun part, I never had anything against playing superheroes. In fact, I've tried to GM more than just the 2 games, but I always got pushback as soon as they heard you had to play the part of the hero. They're like, "Fuck no." They didn't even say, "Hey, could we be the villain?" They're just like, "No, we're not going to play a superhero. We want."
And why do you think that is?
Murder hobos. I don't know. I kept getting the same exact pushback with my primary group and the groups that I played with. They basically said the same exact thing. They don't want to be a goody two shoes.
You don't have to
We
be.
need to find better people.
But you don't have to be a goody two shoes, right?
That sounds great.
Rex Tyler, our man,
So-
is a drug addict.
Ant-Man beat the hell out of Dyke.
Who? Dyke?
His wife,
Van Dyne?
Van Dyne. I thought,
Van Dyne.
I know.
Dyke. I missed that Ant-Man comic where he was punching lesbians. Oh, my God.
Iron Man was an alcoholic and a pill junkie.
Yeah. There's tons of darkness you can add to the thing. That's the point. It's up to you to decide. Problem is they have memories of super friends, and they think that's what superheroes are. It's not.
Yeah.
So my question then for Heroic, is there like an alignment system that restricts players?
Heroic, unaligned, villainous.
Oh, okay.
And it ties into how you gain the spendable resource called karma. Heroic characters can't kill. If they kill someone, they lose all their karma, and if they're a part of a team that has a karma pool, that vanishes too. So if they're unaligned, they don't get karma for killing, but they don't lose karma for killing. But they also don't get karma for rescuing kittens out of trees. If they're villainous, they get karma for doing bad stuff. Karma is like it flows like water in the game, and it should always flow like water. Here, the narrator should always be giving it. The player should always be spending it. It's not the improvement mechanic. That's one of the big changes we made from the original source material of the Marvel Superheroes game, Phase Rip, was to make it not tied to your advancement, so that way people will want to spend the karma. But it's very powerful and it's very useful. It has lots of uses available for you, so people will want to get it and they'll want to spend it. That answer your question?
Sounds
Okay.
like a lot of fun.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like hero coins in Index Card RPG.
Sort of, I guess.
So
I
how
don't
does
know
it?
ICRPG very well.
I mean,
Sorry.
not to quote Firefly.
Kyle, can you see the screen right now?
Yeah.
Do you see how goofy you look? I just see the top of your head. I see a hairline talking to me.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm
As
just
a
messing
group,
with you, bro.
Re-aim your camera.
Just
That's
aim
okay,
your
as a group, we
camera
keep
down,
cutting off
man.
Kai.
Was that?
I would say that's okay. Connell looks weird, and as a group, we keep cutting off Kai.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
You said if you're good line, no killing, which works. I do get that. And not to quote
Sorry, what?
Firefly, but
Wait,
how does karma feel to kneecapping?
beating bad guys gets you karma.
It's like
Stopping
if
crime
if
gets
we're
you
playing this
karma.
game and we're dealing with the villain of the week.
How you
or
beat
whatever,
them matters, though.
It depends. If you're abusive and aggressive and you're a hero, it's going to matter. If you're an unaligned vigilante, not so much.
I get the idea of, hey, let's just bust both of his knees, take him outside of town, and make him walk back.
Okay, if you can pull that off with the villain of the week, good luck. See, everyone walks into, so it's the Mike Tyson situation.
Everybody's
got a
got
plan.
until you get hit for the first time.
Exactly. Oh, it's just Brickhouse. I'm going to pop him in the knees and drag him outside of town. Holy shit, he just punched me across the plaza. I need to come up with a better plan. You know what I mean? Oh, he took my bow and crushed it, and now I'm weaponless. Oh, shit. You know, there's tons of stuff that can happen. And that's the point about a superhero game is everybody's got a plan. No plan survives 5 rounds contact with the enemy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I get it. I get it. I used to box. I know the concept. Oh, this is going to happen. Oh, he hits harder than I thought he did. Oh shit.
I have a villain in my universe called Skull Smasher. Skull Smasher made such a name for himself in my 10-year campaign that at one point in time, one of the heroes, a junior young hero, first mission out, and Skull Smasher was wrecking havoc, was literally walking. So I was just walking through the city. And everybody's freaking out and everybody's losing their mind. You're like, you're a superhero, go stop him. He's like, it's fucking Skull Smasher. Okay. And he got hit once. Basically was playing a Catman type character, like a furry. And basically, essentially, Skull Smasher grabbed him by the leg after the first hit and just slammed him into the ground and was like, bad kitty. And he got up and he's like, can I be your sidekick? You know, like that's the fun of a superhero game is that, you know, you get to quip, you get to make jokes, you get to be super serious, you get to monologue, you get to do all that great role-playing stuff, and you get to play a game where you can, if you have the right character, you can pick up a truck and hit someone with it.
Here's a Jade. You can pick up a boat and hit somebody with it.
I know that's speaking to one of my other character types.
Everybody who's commenting on how Karma sounds like something from another game, remember Karma came out in 1985. Those games stole it from them. Just in case you're wondering. Like, Karma was a unique idea when it came out in the first Marvel Superheroes Yellow Box, which I have up there on my shelf somewhere. You know, they went, this is a great idea, and brought it into other games. I'm telling you, Marvel Superheroes is one of the greatest games ever created, and that's why I'm so excited to make Heroic, which is my progress of the system. You know, I interviewed one of the writers on it, Jeff Grubb, years ago on my first podcast, and he said that the whole thing of game design, where you see all these clones and everything, he goes, it's a conversation, so anything you do should continue the conversation, and that stuck with me. So Heroic is me taking the conversation started in Marvel Superheroes and all the other clones and continuing that conversation. And I think it works. I really do. And I'm not just saying that because it's my thing. I just think it works because it's the game I want to run. So it's fun for me.
So,
Now, if you're into more gritty stuff, go pick up McChris's game. What's it called? His superhero game?
oh, Ascendant.
Yeah, go pick that up. That's heavy crunch. You know, if that's what you're into.
You seen?
It's not a bad game. It's just very crunchy.
Have you seen Evil Geniuses Hero of the Day. I think
Save the day.
Something like that. But they have a Crow. They got the IP for the Crow from the graphic novel and the movie for a RPG game. Like that looks that looks like fun.
Well, I haven't played it, but it sounds good.
No, when you were asking everybody's, I'm like, Martin asked me when is the comedian from Watchmen.
Well, you did that. Think about it. Your Archer guy could be exactly like the comedian.
I need my liver.
You don't have to bury yourself.
We all know your favorite's actually Wolverine.
There for a while I did like Wolverine. But Wolverine is, I like heroes that don't have powers. Hawkeye, Green Arrow, these guys don't. Punisher, they don't have heroes. They get their ass kicked, ass beat. They don't pop, but the next day, aha, I'm all better. No, they're down for the count. And the two archers, their primary weapon is a stick with a string.
And their mouth. Did you read the Hawkeye miniseries from a few years ago? The series where he was living in the apartment building and the Russian mobster and the tracksuit mob was messing with him. Bro.
Yeah, I saw it. I read it.
Good. It was so good. Connell's first trick arrow will be the flask arrow, where he shoots it and it brings back whiskey to his face.
Whiskey.
It's dog whistle that only gets St. Bernards to come with the little barrels around their neck.
No, I'd bring a Chewini with doing a California wheelie as he tries to bring back the barrel because his back end is too light for the front end. I
mean, Batman. That line from the Justice League. What's your superpower? I'm rich. I mean, think whatever you want about the guy who played Batman. Think whatever the hell you want to think about the movie. But there's some really good lines in some really shitty movies.
That just means it's been okay writing for specific characters.
Ben Affleck and
Chota Boy?
What's his name? Ben Affleck and George Clooney both got the short end of the stick. They both did fine. They were good Batmans.
They were both good Batmans and great. The argument with Batman I always had in my head is normally you have to get two different actors. One guy playing Batman, the other one playing Bruce, because there really are two different people. And well, Michael Keaton did a great job. Yeah, he was a wonderful Bruce Wayne, weird as fuck. I didn't like him as Batman. Well, what about George Clooney? George Clooney, great Bruce, halfway decent Batman, shitty writing.
I mean, it is a Joel Schumacher film.
Then Val Kilmer, I mean, he just did it for a paycheck. Even he said so.
Oh man, Val Kilmer's the suit hurt him more than anything else because he didn't know how to move in it.
The bat nipples.
No, that's in part 4, but the suit hurt him in part 3. And then you got Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey just riffing off everything. And he's just part of the scenery that they riff on. He was upset about a lot of things. There's a movie called Val, I believe, that his son narrates. And he talks about all the problems he's had. Good movie. It's on Amazon.
So who is your favorite, random question for you, Barrett, who is your favorite, if we're going with Batman, who is your favorite actor who's played Batman?
It was Clooney until I saw Affleck, and I really liked Affleck.
Okay.
Affleck is good.
But I like Clooney, too. Clooney had shit films. That's the problem for Clooney.
I think the whole reason why I saw the new Flash movie was because Michael Keaton was coming back as Batman. I'm like, I gotta see it.
You know what? I saw that movie. It wasn't as bad as everybody's making it out to be. It was fine. People are just. It's like the same thing with New Mutants. Have you seen the New Mutants film?
Oh yeah, I thought it was great for what it was.
Good little film, but people just crapped all over it. You know what I mean? It's the way people are, man. I didn't even hate Wonder Woman 1984 when I saw it in the theater. I was like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I left it at that. It's the worst thing ever. It's
If you like the Monkey's Paw, it's a really good film.
Yeah. Kevin Conroy's animated Batman was badass. Yes, he was, and so was what's his name on the Batman Brave and Bold.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was the goofy guy on the Drew Carey show.
Yeah, I can see he's. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He was fun.
Jason Omar played the recent Batman, the voice of Batman for the Batman for 52.
Diedrich Bader, there it is. Thank you.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
I've made a comment before. When I was in college, that I often thought today's comic books will be tomorrow's mythology. You know, like we have Zeus, Odin, and all of them. 500-600 years from now, it's going to be Superman, Batman. That will be because they just won't understand.
It's possible, but time is a tricky thing.
Nick Cage can only play one character, and that's Elvis. I'm sorry, but Ghost Rider was all right, but I don't need to see Elvis play Ghost Rider.
Have you seen Mandy?
No,
watch Mandy, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, you got to see Mandy first. You got to put that on one of your lists, and when you want to watch that, I'll show it to you because we got the keys to the server on that one.
Mandy, is that the?
It's a drug. The ketamine lasts throughout the whole movie. It's great.
I thought he was fantastic in Lord of War.
Yeah, Lord of War was great. Vampire's Kiss, he was awesome.
Okay. Lord of War was great.
The Rock is such a good movie.
The trifecta of action films: The Rock, Face Off, Con Air. I mean,
Face Off. I'm a little. I didn't gel with that one as much.
I like John Woo. I love John.
I love John Woo in Hong Kong.
You're geographically incorrect by being over here, sir.
No, it's not that. It's just in Hong Kong, he got to be John Woo making a movie.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, he got to be a name with producers interfering all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Leaving Las Vegas is a great film. There's a reason why Community made the joke about Nick Cage, great actor or hack, and Abed has that class where he's trying to prove the two, and he loses his mind. He's on the desk going, "I'm a sexy cat, meow." It's like, yeah, which Cage is showing up to this film, and it boils down to the director. If he has a director who can control him, you will get a great performance out of him. If you have some schlub director who's just like, Nick Cage is here, who can just act Cage, he just indulges himself and goes crazy.
Willy's Wonderland.
That's actually a decent film.
No, it's not.
It's decent.
No, it's not.
I enjoyed it.
If you just see Nick Cage beat the shit out of the banana splits, that's exactly what that movie is.
Yeah, I liked it. I had a great time watching it.
Guys, we got any final questions for Mr. Bear before we wrap up the show?
No, I've been enjoying this. This is refreshing.
Yeah, I would invite Bear to come over and talk about superhero stuff and how to run a superhero game each and every fucking Thursday for the next Thursdays.
No.
I know, but dude,
he's out of life. Get away from us.
You're a pleasure to have on stream. You're an educator and you're a gentleman, so you probably you classed up our stream quite a bit, I might say, but we really enjoyed having you here with us tonight, Bear.
Thank you kindly.
I'm going to go to my local comic book store, probably pick up a stack of comic books after this conversation, because I love comic books, and it's fun being able to talk comic books to somebody who actually enjoys them.
Well, again, guys, if you ever want to have a game, we'll do it. I'm happy to do the one-off, and if you love it much, maybe we'll do more offs.
Hey,
occasionally on this show we do one shots, and that's actually how I ended up as part of the panel, is me doing a one shot, and everyone liked. Well, they were kind of discussing a little bit before, but that one shot pretty much sealed the deal. Okay. So we're not against doing one shots with people who aren't part of the panel.
Well, I'd be happy to do one. We just got to schedule it and make sure it happens, and you all got to go pick up a copy of the Heroic Playtest off of Drive-Thru-RPG. You cheap bastards. And familiarize yourself with the game.
And if you guys want,
why would I pick up the playtest if I was intending on picking up the actual product?
because the actual product will not be out until Christmas.
Oh well.
The
okay.
art for it will take a while to get done, Jade.
So here's what's happening. We've got the writing done. We're doing a final edit pass on the writing. Once that's done, we go to the backer kit. We've got our layout guy. We got everything we need. I've got the art team standing by. The artist is not going to be available until late spring. So once he's available, he's going to do all the art. But people who are backing the backer kit are going to be able to get the no art version as we go along. They'll have the full game and all that fun stuff, and they'll just be holding out for the final version with the art. But I've got the artist, I've got the colorist, I got everything ready to go. Just friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your money. It's just the way it is. I got to pay people.
Wow. Jade's actually thinking about sitting down and playing a comic book RPG.
Dude,
sorry, what?
I wanted to play Vigilante City from Index Card RPG when I first got Master Edition. But the problem was nobody, and I literally mean nobody of my friends group or circle of gamers wanted to play superheroes. Like for a lot of the same reasons that Crafting mentioned. Like, oh, I don't want to play a goody two shoes. Well, okay, I guess that means we'll never play superheroes because you will never play goody two shoes. You just want to be a goddamn murder hobo. And I'm not about that life anymore. I'm done with it.
I won't be, I'm not going to be evil.
No, not morally flexible. Heart of fucking gold. And that is the problem. I don't have enough people who will play the Heart of Gold characters. So I mean, and that's why I've avoided running, superhero games at my tables because the player base just wants to be murder hobos.
All right.
And I'm slowly not running any game whatsoever anymore because I don't want to have just a party of murder hobos.
I just want to share one more image with you guys so people can understand why waiting for Oliver to be ready is worth the wait.
Oh my.
Yeah, I'd be waiting for that. That's
Nice.
Okay?
That's some good ink work.
This is how good he is. All right. Like this kid is amazing.
Wow.
So when I talked to him and I said, Oliver, I want you back for this because he and I did some comics together. I want you back for this. And he says, okay, FA, I can't do it until the spring. I'm like, okay, we will do it in the spring. We'll do it in the summer, whenever you're ready, brother. I just want to be able to walk up to him and go, here's thousands of dollars. Let's draw pictures now,
So making a hero with a heart of gold. I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Can you? Can you really?
Yeah, I can do it.
I've asked for those characters at my
Press
table for
expert doubt.
fantasy games. I don't know how many times.
What was that guy?
Press expert out.
I can do it. I have a heart of gold.
But there's a
So-
great equalizer in the superhero game, right? Is if you go superhero murder hobo and you don't have a heart of gold, your team may have to hunt you down. But more importantly, your team may get hunted down by other superheroes, right? Go back to the X-Men when Alpha Flight first gets introduced. What does Alpha Flight do? Tank the shit out of the X-Men so they can grab Wolverine.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You create problems for your friends if you don't have a heart of gold, which is fine because it can lead to plot.
I can do it.
You could.
You do this more often. I really like having you on because I don't have the wealth of knowledge that you've got for superheroes and for panel comics, and it's just fun. I enjoy being schooled.
Don't get me started on Star Trek then. Oh boy.
Yeah, we'll do that on one of your streams whenever you're like, we're going to get going here in a few minutes. You guys have a good day. Man, what do you think about TOS? Do you think that Friday's Child was one of the best episodes of season 3? And just let you ramp.
And watch your viewer count just go.
I don't care. Because
There's a
if I
few
get to build a positronic computer that allows me to drive other constellation class cruisers, I'll be happy.
Okay,
There's
so-
a few people on this panel that would love to have a Star Trek conversation.
So wait, did humans actually get 3 warp cores and break through to the other side of the galaxy?
Not yet.
Okay. So why did the Federation let the Klingons in? That's a question I've got. It's
There, you look like you have something to say.
I think
No,
that's
I'm
about
here
all
to
the
talk
time
about
we've got for
superheroes.
tonight.
Okay, we will end the stream here because Bruce almost derailed into Red Letter Media territory. There was this one time on Star Trek, you know how that goes.